Healthy Scratches, we're back after Memorial Day weekend. We have Frankie Borelli and we have a special guest from Lights, Camera, Barstool, Jeff Lowe. Say hello to the people.
What's going on, everybody? Go Knights.
So you may be thinking, this guy knows a lot about movies. Maybe not the biggest hockey veteran, but you're a huge Golden Knights fan. Tell us about that.
Yeah, big time. I grew up in Connecticut, so I had the Whalers until I was 6, and then they screwed us over and they moved. So
Which is brutal. I don't wish that upon my worst enemy to have your favorite team just leave you.
Yeah. Shout out to the St. Louis Rams.
There you
so
go.
I never had a team. My dad was from Cleveland, so no hockey team, and I shunned them. And then I was in Vegas when the team was announced, and I was like, you know what? It's time to be a fan. I'm actually getting a lot of shit for it, but like I didn't know they were gonna make the Stanley Cup when I picked them in 2016.
I think that happens
in
pretty.
2016. That's like
Yeah,
me,
I think that happens pretty naturally. I mean, how else are you supposed to become a fan of the Vegas Golden Knights? Not everyone is a fan of people that you live in the city of the team.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be a fan of a team that's not in your city,
Especially
and a team that comes into like his exact story. I think that's a pretty natural way of finding a team.
And my favorite movie is Ocean's 11, so Vegas, it was a natural fit.
It's a natural fit, and also people like to give shit about that. When your team leaves, you're out for blood, dude. You want to. It's like a girlfriend leaving you. You want a new girlfriend and be like, look at how much I love my new girl. You know what I mean? So I definitely. It's also the team's been around since 2016. You've been 100% fan.
I was a fan before a nickname, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
What'd you think when they announced that? I thought it was kind of a trash name at first.
Oh yeah, for sure. I wanted to get, like, my favorite thing about them, like in game, is the slot machine sound effect when they score. I really wanted it to be a name about like gambling.
Yeah, the Aces was a big name.
The Degenerates, I don't know, like anything that would have worked gambling wise. Yeah,
So,
Aces was the one, yeah.
Last night, obviously, you're a fan of movies. The pageantry last night was straight out of the movie.
Incredible, and then people watching for the first time making fun of it, like, what is this? This is nonsense. Hey, gets the crowd fired up. It is also probably the only arena in hockey that would work.
Let's get ready to rumble!
There was a point where it got a little bit too much. It's like we've seen the guy. It's like a Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings type scene on the ice. I think it's because we've seen it so much now that it's like it's lost its like lore a little bit. But I know it's awesome. Listen, I'm not taking away from it. They had Michael Buffer come out. The whole entire thing was incredible. But if you're like if you're a hockey purist, you have to understand how people don't like this, right? You have like these people from Montreal,
especially in the Stanley Cup Final.
It's the biggest game, the biggest stage. You have an amazing storyline of an expansion team versus the Washington Capitals, Ovi versus Fleury, and like to start the game, we're watching like a battle on the ice between a knight and they're throwing like cannonballs. It's just like it's a little ridiculous.
It looks a lot.
They shoot the arrow and it knocks all like the team logos
out. I mean,
out.
it's unbelievable. It's definitely more out of place in the Stanley Cup Final, which is such a like revered, series.
Something that you would see at the All-Star game,
right? Or like at a minor league game where like you want that kind of.
I'm not taking away from it. I really think it's awesome.
I think it's awesome because like the best thing about like different stadiums and different places, like you love when you go to Fenway, they have like the green monster. Like it's so peculiar compared to other stadiums. I hate when it's just a generic ballpark or generic stadium. You want to know when you're playing Vegas. So you're like, oh, we got to stay in the room another 5 minutes while they reenact like the Ice Dragon getting shot in the face or something. It's like, that's awesome.
It's got to piss the other team off so bad. The Caps have to be in there like, are you fucking kidding me that we have to wait for this
I bet you
sword
Vegas
fight
gets
to happen?
kind of tired of it.
I don't know. I think
their own guys are probably like,
when that mask comes down. See, that's the coolest part of the entire thing.
And I forget what the song is, the EDM song they play. That place is rocking.
It's sick. And then, like I said, you have Michael Buffer come out and announce these players. That when you're a kid and you like do that to yourself in your room, and you're like announcing. When I was a little kid, I used to put on an Islanders shirt and rollerblades. I had this little piece of sport court in my basement. Right, it was like 10 by 10. It was like this little square. And I used to put on rollerblades in an Islander jersey, turn off the lights, and I'd have my sister like go on and off the ice, and I'd announce myself skating around. That was like my favorite part.
That sounds like an electric introduction.
Yeah, like the pageantry of it when I was a little kid, like that was the coolest part. I used to love, like even going to Islander games recently when they were in the playoffs and they play like the bell from like Hell's Bells.
Yeah,
and the lights are off and you're just getting so amped. So I guess Vegas is taking it to the next level because it is Vegas. It's very theatrical, but
for me it's like like Philadelphia they play like Gonna Fly into like Rocky stuff. Cleveland they play like Cleveland Rocks and stuff. Like this is Vegas. Like Michael Buffer on the ice and the Blue Man Group like ringing the siren. Like that's what gets them hyped.
I saw NHL players tweeting yesterday that like their dream is to have Michael Buffer announce them on the ice at a Stanley Cup playoff. Can you imagine hearing that voice like Mark, Andre, Fleury? It's like holy fuck, we're here.
There's nothing better than that. We used to when we play like these shitty teams. I forgot what school it was. They had like the fog machine in the tunnel, and they
probably
turn the lights out and then come on. It's like literally from like Party City, like one of those disco
but you probably came
light
out of
things.
that. You probably came out
Bro,
of that freaking hallway.
I was
going 1,000
bro, I
miles an hour.
was a bullet. I mean, I got cement feet, but as fast as I could go, I was going. There's nothing better, so I'm back in on it. We're back in, but something that I'd have to be out on. Our good friend of the program, Tom Wilson. He's at it again, folks. I mean, Nate Dogg, what can you say this time?
We talk about this guy way too often. We say it every time. If you're in the news this much and you're making rounds this much for having so many questionable hits, you're obviously a dirty player. And I don't hate Tom Wilson in the fact that he plays hard. I don't hate that. I just hate the fact that the fans and him himself and the team cannot accept that he's a dirty player. I understand he's never been suspended in the regular season and shit like this, but
I mean, 4 games in the playoffs. At this point, that's more of like a joke. Than
it really is. And I was even seeing Kerry Frazier, he's a retired NHL referee, he was on Twitter last night, saying that exact hit on a defenseless player is the exact reason why the NHL implemented a 5-minute major and game misconduct rule. This guy has reffed 1,200 games. He's reffed the Olympics. This guy knows his stuff, and he said that hit is exactly why the Players Association and the NHL sat around and said we need to get rid of these hits because these guys are getting blindsided by a freight train.
And it's Marchessault too. Like Vegas is like definitely a team unit, but if there's one guy that can't lose, it's like
That's my dude. That's my favorite player.
I mean, you're watching your favorite player now just get pummeled. He's got to go in and get concussion protocol. I mean, what are you thinking? You have to be cursing out Tom Wilson every time you watch him on the ice.
I think there were some Cavs fans who were countering with the fact that happened right after the Ryan Reeves goal, and he got a cross-check pretty close to the net. People were saying that he got away with one. So, but I mean, I don't know if that was retaliation or not.
I don't think it's fair to have a retaliation when you send a guy into the locker room for a concussion protocol. I don't think I think there's a line at some point.
There's a line when if he has the puck and it's like the Aston Reese hit. At least at this point, we're talking about at least it was resembled like a real hit.
They always try and find a gray area, these Caps fans, about why he did the puck. Shout out Lubomir Wisnowski. We always have to bring up this hit, but every time a guy lets go of the puck, Tom Wilson assumes that he's just allowed to send the guy into the next fucking stratosphere.
If he had the puck that period, Tom Wilson's like, he just let go of it.
This
about
guy
5
touched the
minutes
puck last
ago.
game. I'm allowed to hit him.
Yeah, I'm gonna drill him. It's like a guy that just keeps doing something wrong. He's like, no, I get it, but he obviously doesn't get it at this point, no matter what. Some guy that also got hit in the head didn't seem to faze him at all. Alex Ovechkin. Good lord. Pierre Maguire was heading for the hills on the bench. It looked like a flamethrower was going at him. Ovi didn't move. I mean, this is why he's the most lovable guy. So a casual hockey fan, this dude has to be the most attractive player the NHL has right now.
This was startling to watch as a clip. I just kept watching it over and over and over again. To get hit in the face by a puck like that and not react and almost act as if like a little bit of wind just hit you and he just turns his head and just goes right back. We always compare hockey players and basketball players and baseball players. If that happened to LeBron, he's out. He's not. I mean, he may not actually get hurt, but he's gonna milk it to the point where he falls over the bench and just is laying dead on that.
Crazy. I almost don't understand what happened. I almost think I missaw the clip. It was like, did he really just get juiced right in the mouth?
It kind of reminded me of, do you know that clip where I think it's Matt Barnes does this to Kobe with the ball?
Yeah.
Kobe's just standing there looking at him, doesn't flinch in it. Like great players, man. I don't know. They just they can just brush that off.
Did he plan that? Did he want? I don't even know. I guess if he saw it coming, it was I don't even know.
It's just such an Alex Ovechkin move. It's such a Russian, just a guy standing there, just takes a puck off the fucking nose.
It's unbelievable.
He just acts like his days just hasn't been affected at all.
He's just a horse, dude. Yeah. It's those when you see a gator get shot or something and doesn't move. It's he's just that big. He's such a tank.
Speaking of gators, you had a fucking weekend.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Swimming around with these things. What's wrong with you?
Nothing, dude.
I thought that was a joke, by the way.
At some point, there has to be something mentally wrong with you to be able to swim with uncaged. What was up with that alligator? Was it?
I mean, I didn't expect to address this on Healthy Scratches, but I mean, if you move like prey and you act like prey, then they may eat you. If you act like another predator, another gator, there's no reason for them to attack you. They're cold-blooded animals. He's not going to go out of his way to hunt me down in the water.
That picture, and we'll show it on here, was the type of picture where I was at a family barbecue and I walked up to every single person I knew and I was like, look at how crazy this person I work with is.
Didn't you get stung by a wasp the second you left the water, though?
Yeah, it was actually really bad. I was leaning over a railing looking at something in the water. And I was like, what the And all of a sudden, my girlfriend started freaking out. These hornets started going everywhere, and I just started getting lit up on my shoulder.
we're happy you're back and talking hockey.
Yeah,
there could have
and
been
shout
a
out
chance
to the
that
Florida Everblades about to lose to the Colorado Eagles. That's a little East Coast league we're talking
That's a nice
about.
little transition because we can talk AHL later. We will get into that after the.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too much more to say about Capitals Vegas. That obviously 4 lead changes, one of the craziest games in NHL Stanley Cup Finals history.
Yeah, it was a record amount of lead changes in a game. It was the type of game that you couldn't stop watching. Unfortunately, as like sport fans, they had Game 7 of the NBA on, and they had this amazing game on. So it was like hard to decide what you were going to watch at one point. And then the fact that when the third period started and the Capitals score and Vegas score right away, it's like, I'm not changing this channel for the rest of the game.
And a decidedly better game than the NBA game. Because the NBA game, I actually didn't watch it at all. Apparently, it was like riddled with penalties, and I mean that hockey game last night was nuts.
Oh yeah, and you
Especially
have
when,
NBA.
Crazy.
When the Capitals scored at the beginning of the third, I'm like, oh, here we go, and then they answer right away. And shout out to Ryan Reeves, St. Louis Blues legend, now scoring goals in the Stanley Cup Final.
Yeah,
what the fuck, man? I mean, yeah, you love to see it, but it's also a little maddening. We're gonna have like Perron and him lifting the cup, or Lars Eller. To get back to the AHL, we got the Rockford Ice Hogs. Rock Vegas, as they call it. Speaking of Vegas,
there you go.
A lot of guys that play there. It's quite the place to play. We got Chris DiDomenico lighting up the playoffs and also lighting up the glass on the back of the bench. A little bit of controversy, Frankie Burley.
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't know if you saw this clip. We didn't actually show him, but so there was one of the best players.
You're over my head now.
Yeah, I know.
I know the Hartford Wolfpack. That's about it.
One of the best players of this AHL playoffs. He's on the Blackhawks system. Tied up the game in the playoffs against the Dallas Stars affiliate. He tied it up with like a minute left. The guy's juiced up. He's leading the league in points in the playoffs. He gets his team to overtime. They end up losing in overtime. They get eliminated from the playoffs. Someone must have been chirping him from behind the bench all game. I guess a guy in like a Stars uniform was just going nuts and really getting under his skin. And he just lost this game. He's been lighting it up, like we said, and he's taking the stick and he's just slamming it on the glass. Like, you want to fucking go? You want to go? Like, let me at this guy. Let me murder him. It's like Mike Milbury going after a guy with a shoe back in like the 80s. He's a loose cannon. If a guy starts banging on the glass, like, why do you give a shit about the guy who's behind you? Like, you're going to the NHL. Why do you care about that?
Yeah, but they were also just lost, so like that's why I gave a shit. It wasn't
point,
during the game.
At some point, you gotta have some sort of tunnel vision and say, all right, I'm a player here, and these guys are just watching.
I mean, he's going to the summer. He's like, fuck it, man. He doesn't even care. Like, all of his discipline's gone. They just lost.
They lost to Texas Stars. Is that who they lost to?
Yeah.
That's I went to high school in Cedar Park, Texas. So
wow.
that's where they
Look,
play.
it's all coming together. This is why he's on the
That's
show.
why I interjected a little bit there.
That's
I like that.
That's the type of stuff we need.
Yeah, it's just tough. I mean, to me, if it's a guy that's like a fighter that's getting suspended all the time and like is going after people, then you could be like, oh, this guy's a problem. This dude's obviously a skilled player. It's like, to me, it just shows passion.
Yeah.
And then finally, we also have the salary cap supposedly going from 75 to 80, reported.
Yeah, it's good news. Anytime that the salary caps go up in any sport, I just think it's good for the sport. I mean,
Get people paid.
Especially in hockey, the salary cap's always been an issue. It's been so tight, and guys have had to come off teams and get traded. And I mean, you saw, Boston Bruins always seem to get fucked by the salary cap. When they had to trade Johnny Boychuk that year, when they just didn't want to, and you know, Nick Leddy. I mean, I'm talking about Islander acquisitions, but Nick Leddy had to get traded from the Blackhawks.
All huge acquisitions that would somehow not help the Islanders.
No, they haven't, but it's just examples of when guys have to get rid of players that they don't want to. It's good to see a little more cushion and guys getting paid, because when you have the best players in the NHL only making like $10 million a year, and then you watch basketball players being on the bench making $35, $25 million a year,
maxed out for being not good.
Completely maxed out. You have like backup point guards making money,
making more than Sidney Crosby.
PFT's guy, the Aussie, didn't he sound
Matthew
like
Dellavedova
sound like a $70 million contract?
Timothy Mozgov, I'm pretty sure,
Maxed.
125.
That is
all those guys got
insane.
maxed.
And we're talking about John Tavares making like $9 million a year. These guys are
For
at
who,
the top
though?
of their.
I think the Leafs are giving him what, 12?
Well, we're talking from the 9.5 to 10.7. I actually have some inside info that
Oh,
JT may have a contract in front of him for $10.5 million.
I saw that too, dude.
8 years. I mean, hey,
Or you may have told me that. Never mind.
I did tell you that.
Fuck.
It's coming from Tavares' camp.
I got inside info that's also just Frankie told me his inside.
There's not much legs to it, but apparently that he has an 8 year.
Can we put that on here?
Yeah, we can put that on here.
So first
Ooh,
reported.
little scoop.
I think that's a great offer for John Tavares. $10.75 million
Great
for 8
offer,
years.
but it's one of those things where if he wanted to break the bank, I'm sure that he could from a team that's desperate.
could, for
13,
sure.
14 million maybe? Does that matter? And
I
also
mean, no
Long
one's
Island,
making
pretty
that
high
money.
taxes.
Hey, we talked about
Long
when you
Island,
make
pretty
that much
high
money,
tax
you're not
rate.
talking about the taxes.
That's like all sports.
You're-
It's like, well, he was gonna go live here because there's no, state income tax.
Dude,
or
the
some
guy's
shit.
gonna be living his
They're
life.
millionaires.
I understand that it's a difference between what, like a
Pretty
couple,
high
like,
taxes,
100
take
grand.
less
The guy's
money
gonna
to
make
play
10
for the
million a year.
Islanders.
It's a
Sounds
great
a
life
little
on Long
fishy.
Island. He's gonna
Sounds
have a nice
a little
house.
too
He's
convenient.
gonna have some nice, he's gonna have a nice school for his kids to go to. Long Island's a great place to grow up.
Phil Kessel supposedly wanting to get traded. The Penguins want to trade him. This could be complete bullshit, but it was getting some legs. I thought I saw Elliot Friedman talking about it, which is normally a pretty reputable source. What the fuck, man? I guess he doesn't get along with Sullivan or something. Dude, the guy had
At that
90
point, you
points.
figure it out. You figure out whatever little shit that's going on in the locker room to keep Phil Kessel, who's an awesome locker room guy from the
6.8
outside
million.
looking in. Like, who doesn't want Phil Kessel on their team? The guy's fucking awesome. He's
Obviously
hilarious.
you don't know what's going on in the room. You never know. Their perceptions are different, but like 6.8 million for a 90-point player.
Unreal.
Get
Best
outta
deal in
here.
the league. Phil
Crazy.
Kessel is low-key the best deal in the NHL.
Yeah,
for the amount
obviously.
of money
So
he made.
obviously, I was hearing as well because his Iron Man streak that he wanted to keep alive. He was injured and probably should have taken some time off to let it heal. Some people think it's like selfishly wanting to keep it alive. He kept playing, which was keeping it injured. There's a lot of like little cracks. That's obviously anytime you see like rumors of someone, they are picking and choosing. A couple bounces either way. They could have been back in the Eastern Conference Final, Stanley Cup, and we're talking about trading a 90-point player. That's lunacy to me.
Nuts.
But I'm not in the Penguins locker room, and I'm not Jim Rutherford. But I just want you to know that's crazy. All right. Sorry, I'm glad
Thanks to our movie guy and now hockey guy.
Yeah, go
Lights, camera, Barstool.
subscribe, download, rate.
Favorite
what
hockey
do we
movie?
say? Young boy? Slapshot?
Probably Slapshot. I do love Miracle though. I mean,
Miracles, I mean, you can't go wrong.
but probably Slapshot.
It has to be Slapshot.
Yeah.
And that's the show.